Hey guys and gals, this is Nick of the Broken Legion of Gamers, and in this video, we're going to start to build the Back to the Future DeLorean. And this is going to be issue 1 and parts pack 1 of the Back to the Future DeLorean. Right now, we're going to quickly go through what the contents of the magazine. It starts out with drive time, which is the assembly instructions. Then Futurist, this is an article that talks about how Bob Gale and came up with the idea for the Back to the Future script. In Time Trials, it shows what they went through to create the concept art for the Back to the Future DeLorean. And in A Time Traveler's Guide, it just shows everything about everything about Michael J. Fox. Right here, you get a comprehensive list of all the parts that come in this build. You get the rear bumper, upper rear section, lower rear section, the plate base, the license plate, the stickers for the license registration on the license plate, the light frame, all the inserts for the headlights, a license plate holder, and then 9 AP screws and 7 BP screws. And as we keep going, here's the instructions, but we'll go into those in greater detail later when we start with the build. And here's just the Futurist, the article about writing the script. Here's the article about the trying to create the concept art for the time machine. A fun fact, at one point they were considering a Ford Mustang for the time machine. Here's the article about Michael J. Fox. It goes over his early career. And right here it gives you a nice little sneak peek at the parts that you get in issue and parts pack 2. And on the back cover, it just gives you a nice diagram of all the parts you get in this. Now, in this series, I'm also going to give you tips on stuff that I find helpful in building this. Now, the first thing you definitely want to grab is like a washcloth, or in my case right here, a microfiber cloth, because this right here, what are they calling it? The upper part of the rear bumper, the upper rear section, that's what they're calling it. This is metal, and if you put it down on certain surfaces, you might scratch off some of the paint and it won't look stainless steel anymore. But we're going to start with step 1 and 2. Right here is step 1 and 2. For step 1 and 2, you're basically fastening the upper rear section and the lower rear section, and as you can see in step 2, you're going to do that with 4 BP screws. Now, I've got all my stuff in a bag. Let's go find the BP screws. And here's the BP screws. So we'll pour out the BP screws. And usually when you get these parts packs, they come really nicely packaged and everything. But because I already built this and took it apart to make this video, I don't have the packaging anymore. Now, for step 1, you're just going to introduce the upper rear section and the lower rear section like this. And then you're going to turn it over. And right here, you put BP screws in these 4 screw holes. So here's the screwdriver that comes with the kit. I'm not too much of a fan of this screwdriver. I have these 4 Husky screwdrivers, and we're going to be using these for the build. And I sat there and magnetized these this way. Okay, yeah, that one will work. Now what you do is now this is going into plastic, so you can just screw straight into it. No special preparation needed. What I like to do is get all 4 screws started. This way, everything lines up. You don't have to worry about warpage or anything like that. And then, what you do is you go and you just tighten all the screws all the way down. Now that's all 4 screws in. Now tighten it down, and once you start feeling resistance, stop, because this is going into plastic. It's going through metal into plastic. You don't want to crack the plastic, and you don't want to round the screw heads. And there's your rear assembly for your DeLorean time machine. Now the next step, I closed the magazine like an idiot. The next step, you're going to be putting all of the, you're going to step 2 or step 1, 2, and 3 of the taillight. You're going to put the taillight together. It's going to look like this. Then you're going to introduce it to that rear section that you just built. And then you're going to turn around and tighten it in with another BP screw. And before it goes in, it is supposed to look like this. So let's get the 4 parts we need. We'll move this to the side for now. There's the taillight cover. And we're just going to pour out all the small bits at this point. Okay, so let's assemble a taillight. This goes in like this. Then you put this in. And this taillight is really interesting because I know it's going to be hard to see, but and also hard to get focused. But on this corner, right, the bottom left corner by my thumb, they actually etched DMC into it. So that is supposed to go on the top. And then here is the reverse light, the reverse lens. And no, that's not how that goes in. Then we're going to pull our assembly back. We're going to get that into that notch and then just put that in so it looks like that when it's complete. But we're going to rebuild the taillight because that just knocked all the lenses out. Yeah, some of these bits are really fiddly to work with, but you do get used to them. And then that goes in like that right there. And then we're going to introduce this to the... Really, this is the only annoying part about this issue. Trying to get this into there, and it doesn't help. I'm trying to do this on camera, building a model for the first time, a model like this for the first time on camera. And we're going to try this screwdriver for this screw. This screw goes into this hole right here. This hole right there. I promise you guys, I'm normally better at this. You know what? Let's try using the screwdriver that actually came with the build. Even though, in my opinion, it's too small for the BP screws. And then turn it back over, and you have one taillight in. Now we're going to move this to the side because right now we are going to go and move on to work on the license plate. As I said, I don't have the stickers because I put the stickers on the license plate already, but if you subscribe to this and you build yours, just remember the August goes on the left and the actual registration goes on the right. And this is they did a beautiful job with this plate. The out of time is actually lifted up and the rest of it's on there really good. So by the looks of it, okay, we are done with the BP screws. So we're going to put those back in the bag for the next video because I have all my screws in the same bag. And as you saw earlier by the preview of the parts we get in the next video, we're going to work on the front, on the driver's side fender, and also finish up with the whole rear assembly. So in step one, you're putting on the stickers. Step 2, you're introducing the plate to the plate frame. Step 2B, you're screwing the plate into the plate frame with AP screws. In step 3A, you're introducing the license plate lights to the frame. And in step 3B, you're screwing those down with 2 AP screws. So let's get at that one. Here's the license plate frame. And the plate just inserts in like that, and that's what it's going to look like. You turn it over. No, it would help if I opened up the AP screws. And then introduce that like that. Okay. Hold on, let me get this screw on this really good. Okay, and then you're going to take the screwdriver, get it in the hole, and start turning the screw. And once again, we're just going to get this started. We're not going to tighten it all the way down. I do love the fact that the one thing I do love about the screwdriver that Eaglemoss sends you, even though it's not really the strongest of tips and not really the proper size for the BP screws, it is magnetic, so it really helps picking up the screw. Okay, and we'll tighten that one down all the way. Okay, and the license plate is tightened in. Now, for that's steps 1, 2A, and 2B done. Now for step 3A, what we're going to do, you turn this around, we're going to take what they're calling the plate holder, which it's basically the license plate lights, and we're introducing it to the plate base. But you gotta be careful because you have these little notches here and here. And no, I don't have my light on, that's why. Oh, you can see them. You gotta get this part through those notches without damaging anything. So we introduced that to there. And let's have at it with the AP screws. Now, just to let you know, they use these AP screws a lot in this build. This is Eaglemoss's favorite screw for this build. So get used to seeing AP screws. And that, by what I'm seeing on videos, that actually continues over into their Ecto 1 build that they're doing. Now that's an ongoing build that they're currently doing. This build is actually, they've completed it. They're still selling it, but all the issues have been released and all the bonus issues. Now we're going to put the AP screws back into the bag. And then we'll move on to the next step because we are done with all the screws that we need for this step. Now, the plate does not get fastened on in this issue. So we're going to put that safely back into here, this bag, and we're going to put the screws back in this bag so they don't get lost. Now there's still one more step to work on, one more step to do to finish assembling the rear section of the vehicle, and that's introducing what they're calling the bumper into the rear section. So we're going to bring back our old friend, the rear section right here, and we're going to grab the bumper, line it up like so. This way it says DeLorean, and we're going to carefully push that in because this is just held on by clips, thankfully, because in a later issue we're going to have to remove this because these 3 screw holes are the holes that they use to fasten this rear section onto the frame of the build. But that's in a future video, much farther down the road. But now, with that all said and done, we finished doing the assembly for issue 1, and it looks just like that. And that's it for this video. We'll come back later today and do issue 2, where we will be assembling. Over in the UK, they call them wings. This is the front left fender in America. So we'll assemble that, and it also gives us the last piece of the taillight. And in that issue, we also put the plate assembly onto this. And, well, you'll see in the next video. But that's it for issue 1 and parts pack 1 for the Back to the Future DeLorean build. If you liked this video and give it a nice big thumbs up, you can, if you're not doing this right now, you can head over to, in the UK it's eaglemosscollectors.com, and in the US it's diecastclub.com, and you can order issues 1 and 2 for the introductory price of $1.95, and they'll give you the information on the cost and how the rest of that works over there, but also with free shipping. But that's it for this video. If you guys like what you saw, hit the thumbs up. If you're new to the channel and you want to see the rest of either the Back to the Future DeLorean builds, or you want to see tabletop gaming content, subscribe and hit that bell icon so you can be notified anytime I put up any future videos. And as always, support local wargaming. Here at the channel, we support Toy Wiz in Nanuet, New York, on Route 59, right across the street from the Dunkin' Donuts. See you guys later.